It's unsettling how love, once so warm and secure, can evaporate in a single careless moment. I still remember the day I met her. I was 22, she was 20, and she looked at me as though the world was full of possibilities. We dated for 2 years and got married when she was 22 and I was 24. For 8 years, we built a life together. Quiet evenings at home, shared vacations, small traditions that only we understood. We never had children, but at the time it didn't feel like we were missing anything. She was my family. She was my home. How many times did I tell her that I loved her? Too many to count. How many times did I show her? Not enough, evidently. Otherwise, I wouldn't be sitting here, alone in a rented apartment 2 years after she left, trying to piece together what remains of my shattered life. I made a mistake, an unforgivable one. I cheated on her. It was one time, just once. A stupid lapse in judgment that came from some fleeting temptation. I don't even recall the details clearly, just that it happened, and afterward I felt hollow and ashamed. I never intended for her to find out. I planned to take the secret to my grave, to bury it under remorse and never let it see the light of day. I know that sounds cowardly, but I couldn't stand the thought of hurting her. She was the love of my life. I know how that sounds given what I did, but I can't deny the truth of my feelings. She did find out, though. I came home one afternoon after work, expecting nothing unusual. The moment I stepped inside, something felt off. The air was too still, the silence oppressive. I noticed the absence of her favorite throw blanket on the couch, the empty space where her suitcase used to be stored. Her clothes, her shoes, gone. My heart thumped so loudly that it filled my ears with a roaring emptiness. On the kitchen table were divorce papers and a short note. "This is what you do with cheaters." That note, that cold scrawled sentence, became the last direct message I ever got from her. 2 years have passed since then. I tried calling her immediately, but her phone had been disconnected or blocked my number. I tried emailing, I tried social media, but she'd closed her accounts. I tried to contact her through mutual friends, but they either didn't know anything or refused to get involved. Eventually, I contacted the lawyer listed on the divorce papers, a stranger who barely knew me but seemed to know a lot about my wife's resolve. He told me she did not want to see me, that I should get my own legal representation. I argued, I begged. He calmly repeated himself. She wanted no contact. I refused to accept that a decade together, 2 years dating, 8 married, could end without a single conversation. For months, I held on to the hope that she would come back, that she was just angry and needed time. I blamed myself, of course. How could I not? I had violated her trust in the worst possible way, but I also felt I deserved at least a chance to explain, to apologize properly, to attempt reconciliation. Don't I deserve a second chance? Many couples survive infidelity, why not us? But she never came. The divorce went through about a year ago. I made it difficult, dragging my feet in legal proceedings, praying she would realize that we shouldn't toss everything away. In the end, it didn't matter. The courts finalized it. The marriage we built vanished with a few legal stamps. I still can't wrap my head around it. One moment we were life partners, the next I was a stranger in her eyes, not even worthy of a farewell argument. The pain consumed me. For a long time, I became a ghost of myself, drinking too much, forgetting to eat, sleeping poorly. My therapist said it's hard to move on without closure. My mind kept spinning scenarios. Maybe she'd show up one day, or call, or I'd wake up from this nightmare. Without her voice telling me it was over, I remained stuck in a loop of regret and hope. I told the therapist I didn't want anyone else, that I only wanted her back. The therapist tried to gently steer me toward moving on, meeting new people, dating again. I had no interest. It felt like a betrayal of the love I still carried. Then a few days ago, I learned something that shattered whatever fragile stability I'd managed. I was at home with my friend Nick. Both of us had a few drinks, and I started talking about my wife. Nick told me I needed to move on, that she was over me and living her life happily far away. The confidence in his tone made me suspicious. How did he know she was happy? I pressed him, demanded he tell me what he knew. He refused at first, but I begged, cried even, desperate for any scrap of information. Finally, he admitted that his wife, Sabrina, had been in contact with my ex for the last year. Sabrina and my wife were good friends once, and apparently they reconnected. Through Sabrina's quiet updates, Nick learned that my ex was now living in Norway, married to another man, and 7 months pregnant. When those words left Nick's lips, it felt like my heart stopped. She's in Norway, a place she always admired. She's remarried. She's expecting a baby. I've spent the last 2 years believing she was just angry, that given enough time she might return or at least talk to me. Meanwhile, she built a whole new life on another continent, marrying another man and creating the family we never had. The agony of that realization made me want to die on the spot. How could she move on so thoroughly, so quickly? Was our decade together worth so little? I tried to rationalize it. Maybe she's not really happy. Maybe she's using this man or this situation to escape the pain I caused. Maybe she just got pregnant by accident and married him for practical reasons. A visa, stability in a foreign country, a support system while expecting a child. My mind conjured these theories like desperate lifelines to deny the possibility that she might be genuinely happy and in love with someone else. Why didn't we have children in all those years? We talked about it, tried for a while, but nothing happened. I never blamed her openly. We both got checked and were told everything was normal, it just didn't happen. I let myself imagine that maybe she was infertile. Now she's pregnant by another man, proving that was never the case. I know this is petty jealousy on my part, but it stings like hell. She's giving him something she never gave me, a child. I feel compelled to contact her, to fly to Norway and demand answers, to know if she truly loves him or if she's just retaliating against me. But I have no way to reach her. She vanished expertly, leaving no trace. Her family blocked me. Her old friends stopped talking to me. Her lawyer won't give me any information. I'm left with fragments of gossip from Sabrina, a woman I now resent for staying quiet all this time, letting me suffer in ignorance. But what can I do? Trying to track her down in Norway would be a wild goose chase. She's pregnant, presumably happy. Maybe she hates me so much that the thought of giving me closure never crossed her mind. Maybe she's truly moved on. My therapist told me to focus on myself, to accept that I'll never get the answers I crave. It's not fair. I want to explain, to say how sorry I am. I want to tell her that I never stopped loving her. I want to beg for forgiveness, or at least understand why she couldn't bear to face me after that day. But she owes me nothing, and that's a bitter pill to swallow. Nick and Sabrina's involvement just complicates things further. Sabrina knew all this time and didn't say a word. Nick says he kept quiet to protect me or her, or maybe he just didn't want the drama. Now I'm furious with both of them. Everyone around me seemed content to let me rot in uncertainty while my ex built a new life abroad. No one cared to give me a hint. I feel betrayed by the entire world. I know I should let go. She's remarried, expecting a child with another man, living in a country she loves. People say she's happy. Maybe she is. If I loved her, shouldn't I be glad she's found happiness, even if it's without me? The rational part of me tries to think that way, but the heartbroken, wounded part of me just can't stop hurting. I'm not a monster. I know I cheated and caused this. I know I ruined a beautiful marriage. But I'm human, full of remorse and regret. I love her still. People online might say that if I truly loved her, I wouldn't have cheated. Maybe they're right. But does that mean my current suffering isn't real? Or that my love now is invalid? Humans are flawed. I made a terrible mistake, and I've paid a tremendous price. She left her life behind, moved to another continent, cut all ties. That shows a level of pain and determination I can't ignore. She must have been devastated, furious, heartbroken, and decided that the only way to heal was a complete severance. Maybe she found in Norway something she lacked here. Freedom, a fresh start, no painful memories on every street corner. Maybe this new man is kind, faithful, and gives her the security I failed to maintain. In that case, who am I to begrudge her that? And I'm trying to see it from her perspective. If I caused her unimaginable pain, maybe staying and facing me every day would only deepen the wound. Maybe leaving was her only path to salvation. The fact that she's pregnant now and presumably building a new family might mean she found a reason to trust again. I don't know. I guess I'll never know. I can't force her to talk to me. If I ever truly loved her, maybe the best act of love now is to let her go, let her be happy wherever she is, and try to find my own way forward. It might take years, but I can't live forever in this limbo, fueled by anger, jealousy, and regret. My therapist urges me to let go. He says I need to accept that it's over, that I'll never get closure. I haven't listened before, but maybe it's time. She's married, pregnant, halfway across the world. If she needed me, she'd find me. She knows where to reach me. She hasn't, and that silence is its own kind of answer. So I sit here in this quiet apartment, holding on to a love that no longer exists, wrestling with a future without her. I'll try to find a reason to live again. Maybe I'll finally follow my therapist's advice and try to date, or at least meet new friends. Maybe I'll throw myself into a new hobby or travel somewhere new. I'm still breathing, after all. I still have a chance to reshape my life. It's time to accept that sometimes we don't get second chances. Sometimes one mistake is enough to end a decade of love. She moved on. Maybe one day I'll forgive myself. And maybe I'll meet someone else who I won't ever betray. I'll carry this pain as a lesson, a scar that reminds me never to take love for granted again. I put down my phone, close my laptop, and lean back in my chair, exhaling slowly. Tomorrow I'll wake up, and the world will keep turning. Life will go on without her smile, her voice, her warmth beside me. It's not fair. It's not what I wanted, but it's reality, and I must face it.